Monday morning, 9:15. The entire team is sitting in the conference room, the large one, the one they only use when someone is about to deliver a speech they have rehearsed. Your vice president stands at the front. He does that thing where he takes off his glasses before speaking, as if that might soften whatever comes next. I want to be transparent with everyone, he says. We're beginning a third-quarter restructuring review. Some roles will be evaluated. I don't have specific details yet, but I wanted you to hear it from me first. The room tightens. You can feel it, that particular kind of silence where 20 people are thinking the same thing, but no one wants to be the first to react. Sarah, sitting beside you, leans closer. "This is bad," she whispers. You nod. "Yeah." Your phone vibrates in your pocket. You do not look at it. Not here. Not now. You sit through another 11 minutes of corporate language designed to say nothing while implying everything. When the meeting ends, you walk back to your desk the same way everyone else does. A little quieter, a little more withdrawn. In the hallway, you take out your phone. 3 notifications. $4,200. A rental payment from your property manager, automatic, $1,380. Quarterly dividend from a real estate investment trust you have not touched in 2 years, $840. Net profit from an automated digital service you built 18 months ago and now check once a week, $6,420. And it is only the 14th. The month is not even halfway over. You put your phone away, sit down at your desk, and open the same spreadsheet you were working on Friday. Sarah walks past. She has that look, the look of someone already writing worst-case scenarios in her head. She stops. "We should probably update our resumes tonight," she says, half joking, half serious. "Probably," you reply. You will not update your resume tonight, not because you are braver than Sarah, not because you are smarter, because the math is different now. For Sarah, this job is the floor beneath her feet. If it disappears, she falls. For you, this job is a choice you make again every Monday morning. And today, just like every other Monday, you chose to come back. But Sarah does not know that. Nobody in that room does. And that gap, the distance between what they see and what is actually true, is the space you live in every single day. So how did you get here? Not the way you might expect. 5 years earlier, you were 26, same company, lower position, same commute. You were earning $4,200 a month after taxes. It felt like enough, until it did not. Then, something happened. Your college friend Jess received a job offer in another city. She still had 4 months left on the lease for her studio apartment, a small place in a neighborhood that had quietly become popular. Her landlord did not want to deal with ending the lease early, so Jess started asking around. Did anyone want to take it over? You almost said no. You had no obvious reason to say yes. But that Thursday night, for reasons you still cannot fully explain, you opened a spreadsheet and did something you had never done before. You ran the numbers. What would happen if you took over the lease and offered the apartment as a furnished short-term rental? The rent was $1,400 a month. Furnished short-term rentals in that neighborhood were bringing in roughly $1,800 to $2,000. After utilities, cleaning expenses, and platform fees, you estimated that you would keep about $160 a month. $160. You almost laughed. Your hourly pay at work was higher than that. Why would you even bother? But you did it anyway. You took over the lease. You furnished the apartment with $600 worth of second-hand furniture. Then you listed it. On the first day of the following month, $160 appeared in your account. You had not set an alarm. You had not driven anywhere. You had not asked anyone for permission or waited for anyone's approval. The money simply arrived, because a system you had created was running whether you were watching it or not. $160 a month is not much. It does not change your life. It does not impress anyone. You did not tell your friends. You did not tell your parents. Not because it was a secret, because it felt too small to mention. But that $160 taught you something, even though you did not have the words for it yet. Money could be separated from your time. Income could exist inside a structure that did not care whether you were awake or asleep, whether you were having a good day or a terrible one, or whether your boss liked your latest presentation. That was not just a number. It was proof of concept. The system worked at $160, and there was no structural reason it could not work at $1,600 or $16,000. The logic would remain the same, only the inputs would change. You did not fully understand that yet, but your body knew that something had shifted, because from that month forward, the sound of your manager's voice felt different. It would take another 3 years before you understood why. Jump ahead to year 3. Your passive income has grown, not explosively and not overnight, but steadily, the way things grow when you keep reinvesting and keep your mouth shut. A second rental property, a small dividend portfolio producing cash every quarter, an automated service you launched 9 months earlier, now bringing in more than $700 a month. Your total passive income is around $4,800 a month. Not enough to quit your job, but enough to fundamentally change the way you experience it. Then comes your annual performance review. Greg, your manager, sits across from you with the expression managers wear when they believe they are delivering a gift. "I went to bat for you," he says. 3.5%. You calculate it immediately. A 3.5% raise means roughly $200 more each month after taxes. The previous month, your passive income increased by $340 on its own. No meeting, no performance review, no one going to bat for you. Greg has just offered you a raise smaller than the amount your system generated while you were asleep. "Thank you," you say. "I really appreciate it." And you mean it, just not in the way Greg thinks you do. This is the first time you clearly recognize what has changed. When your paycheck represents 100% of your income, your employer holds 100% of the leverage. You need them exactly as much as they believe you need them. But when your paycheck falls to 60% of your total income, then 50%, then less than half, something loosens inside your chest. The fear becomes quieter. It does not disappear. It simply becomes quieter. And here is what nobody tells you about building income outside your job. The hardest part is not making the money. The hardest part is managing the distance between what you feel and what you are allowed to show, because you still need to look like someone who deeply cares about a 3.5% raise. You still need to nod while Greg explains that budgets were tight. You still need to suggest the less expensive lunch spot before one of your coworkers does, so nobody starts wondering why you never seem worried about money at the end of the month. You are performing normalcy every single day, and nobody ever gave you a script for it. Then there is Maya. She joined the company the same year you did. For 6 years, you have sat 3 desks apart, covered each other's meetings, and known exactly how the other person takes their coffee without ever needing to ask. It is Friday afternoon. The office is beginning to empty. She is standing beside the coffee machine, and you know something is wrong before she says a word. It is the way she holds her mug with both hands, as though she needs something solid to hold on to. "Tom got laid off," she says. Her husband, 2 weeks ago. "He didn't want me to tell anyone, but—" She stops and takes a breath. "We probably have 2 months of savings. Maybe 3 if we're careful." She is not asking you for money. She is not asking for advice. She simply needs the situation to feel real to someone other than herself. And you are standing there holding a cup of coffee you do not need, knowing with complete clarity exactly what she could do. You know because you have already done it. The spare room in her apartment, the one she uses as a home office 2 days a week, could be listed as a short-term rental by the following weekend. You know the rates in her neighborhood. You know the platform fees. You know she could probably clear between $500 and $700 a month. That amount would not solve everything, but it would buy her the one thing panic destroys: time. You know the first step. You know the second step. You know which mistakes she can avoid. But telling her everything means explaining how you know. Explaining how you know means revealing what you have built. And revealing what you have built means this moment, 2 friends sharing the same fear, becomes something else entirely. It becomes one person with answers and another person who needs them. The balance shifts, and once it does, it may never return. So you make a choice. "Have you ever thought about what that spare room could do?" you ask, casually, as if the idea has only just occurred to you. She looks at you. "What do you mean?" "I don't know. I read an article about people renting out spare rooms online. Some of them make surprisingly decent money. It might be worth looking into, just to take some pressure off while Tom figures out what comes next. She says she has never considered it. You tell her it may be worth researching. Then the conversation moves on. 3 months later, she mentions it in passing. The spare room is now bringing in $600 a month. She tells you about it as though it is her discovery, her idea. It's not life-changing money, she says, but it helps us breathe. That's amazing, you reply, and you mean it. No. She will never know that you have been doing the same thing for 5 years. She will never know that her $600 is simply another version of your first 160. She will never know that you stood beside that coffee machine and deliberately chose to be a mirror instead of a map. You helped without revealing. You gave without taking credit. But that choice has a cost that never appears on any spreadsheet. It costs you the intimacy of being fully known by someone you care about. No passive income stream can generate that. 6 weeks later, the restructuring process is complete. The list arrives on Thursday afternoon at 4:47, late enough for everyone to go home and process the news in private. Your name is not on it, but that is not the real story. The real story is what happened the night before. Wednesday evening, alone at your kitchen table, you opened your spreadsheet and asked yourself one question. What happens if my name is on that list tomorrow? You ran the numbers. Losing the job would mean losing $6,400 a month in after-tax salary. Your passive income, $12,000 a month, would continue. Your monthly expenses were $5,800. You would move from comfortable to careful, not from careful to desperate, not from careful to afraid. You sat there looking at the calculation and felt something quiet, not relief, not pride, recognition. It was the same feeling you had 5 years earlier when that first $160 appeared in your account. The system did not care about restructuring emails, executive announcements, or the speed of your heartbeat. It simply continued to run, and the distance between "I could lose this job" and "I would actually be in danger" had become so wide that fear could no longer cross it. That is what people misunderstand about financial freedom. They believe it is a number that allows you to quit your job. It is not. The number that changes your life is the number at which fear stops being rational. The point where being afraid is a habit, not a fact. You can still feel the fear. Your chest still tightens when a company-wide email arrives at 4 in the afternoon. But now you know it is a ghost, and ghosts do not pay or take away your rent. Thursday afternoon, the email arrives. Your name is not on the list. Sarah's name is not on it. Maya's name is not on it. Monday morning, same conference room, 9:15. The vice president is already talking about fourth quarter targets, as though the previous month never happened. Sarah is sitting beside you. She leans closer. "I'm glad we made it," she whispers. You nod. "Yeah, me too. But you mean something entirely different." By now you are used to that. Same meeting, same chair, same word, different math.